The Frog Prince. Upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a just and beloved king. The king had a youngest princess who was exquisitely beautiful, but she was also a bit spoiled and arrogant. Her most cherished possession was her sparkling golden ball. One day, as the princess was playing with her golden ball beside a deep well in the forest near the palace, the ball unfortunately slipped from her hand and plunked right into the well. The princess burst into tears, not knowing how to retrieve her precious toy. Just then, an ugly frog poked its head out of the water and asked, "Beautiful princess, why are you weeping so miserably?" The princess looked at the frog in surprise, then replied scornfully, "I'm crying because my golden ball has fallen into the deep well. Who can help me get it back now?" The frog replied, "I can help you. But if I bring your ball back up, what will you promise me?" The princess thought, what could this ugly frog possibly do? So she rashly promised, "I'll give you precious jewels, silken clothes, or even my golden crown." The frog shook its head. "I don't need those things. I only want you to let me be your companion, sit at your table, eat from your plate, and sleep in your bed." The princess found this disgusting, but wanting her ball back, she thought, what a silly frog. It can't possibly really demand such things, can it? So she promised, "Fine, I promise everything." Hearing the princess's promise, the frog dived deep into the well. A moment later it surfaced, holding the golden ball in its mouth, and carefully placed it on the grass. The princess, overjoyed, quickly grabbed the ball and ran back to the palace, without even a backward glance at the frog. The frog called after her princess. "Wait for me," he promised, but the princess didn't stop. The next day, as the king, queen, and princesses were having dinner, there was a knock at the door. Then a hoarse voice called out, "Youngest princess, please open the door for me." The youngest princess heard it and hurried to see who it was. When she saw the frog standing at the door, she was startled and quickly slammed the door shut. The king, curious, asked, "My daughter, what's wrong? Who's at the door?" The princess recounted her encounter with the frog and her promise to it. The king listened and then said, "My daughter, you must keep your promise. Open the door for the frog." Though unwilling, compelled by her father's word, the princess reluctantly opened the door. The frog hopped right in, then hopped onto the table, asking the princess to let it eat from her plate. The princess was disgusted but had to let the frog share her meal. After dinner, the frog said, "Now I'm tired, princess. Please take me to your bed so I can sleep." The princess burst into tears, not wanting the dirty frog to sleep with her. But the king sternly said, "My daughter, no one is to break a promise. You must fulfill your word." So the princess unwillingly carried the frog to her bedroom. She placed the frog on the floor beside her bed. But the frog hopped onto the bed and said, "I want to sleep on your pillow." The princess was so angry she couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed the frog and threw it hard against the wall, exclaiming, "You ugly frog, just get away from me." But miraculously, when the frog fell to the ground, it was no longer an ugly frog. Instead, a handsome, splendid young prince stood there, with kind eyes looking at the princess. The prince explained that he had been cursed by a wicked witch, and only a princess who truly promised and fulfilled her promise could break the spell. The youngest princess, even though she had thrown the frog, it was precisely that angry action and her reluctant fulfillment of the promise that broke the enchantment. The princess felt incredibly ashamed of how she had treated the frog. The prince forgave her and explained that, now that the curse was broken, he wished to take her to his kingdom. They fell deeply in love. A few days later, a magnificent carriage pulled by 8 pure white horses arrived to fetch the prince and princess. The prince and princess rode together to his kingdom, and they lived happily ever after. And the youngest princess also became much humbler and kinder. If you find the story interesting, please follow, like, and press the bell to receive more of our interesting stories.